Today, we're gonna find out the answer to the age-old question, can you make $1 billion in GTA Online starting as a level 1 player in 2026? Actually, no, we won't find that answer today, but definitely sometime later this year. More importantly though, is it possible to do this challenge before GTA 6 releases? We're already in March, which means there are only 8 months left. So I'll have to average roughly $125 million each month on this brand new account to hit that goal. Also, because shark cards as well as mod menus are cringe, I won't be using either of those. But don't worry, because I've got a plan here. First, I'll employ my 12 years of experience as a serious grinder in GTA 5 Online to optimize my cash flow, which basically means spamming a lot of Cayo. Then, I'm also going to use an advanced technique that rhymes with free play rich, and what that boils down to is also spamming Cayo, but in rapid succession. Because it's definitely not my fault if my router randomly crashes on the heist finale before my save data can be uploaded to Rockstar servers. Anyways, step 1 is going to be unlocking the Kosatka Submarine for $2.2 million, and because the Kosatka is useless without a Sparrow, I'll also need a further $1.8 million for that helicopter, which brings the total cost to just over $4 million, and getting this money is going to be my goal for part 1 of this brand new series. Because after making that $4 million as fast as possible on this brand new account, I can finally jump into Cayo and give myself brain rot for the next 8 months straight. First, I'm going to collect my free career builder cash because this is the expanded and enhanced edition of the game, and instead of making you sit through a boring tutorial, Rockstar instead hands you a bunch of free money and lets you have fun with it. I wisely put my $4 million to good use by buying what is possibly the single worst career path of all time, a motorcycle clubhouse. If you're a veteran grinder yourself, you're probably cringing right now because you know that the MC clubhouse is completely worthless on its own basically and requires a nightclub to actually be profitable. But remember, I'm trying to give myself a proper challenge here by deliberately wasting all of my career builder money, so I start with as close to $0 as possible. Next, I'm going to buy the Morningwood Coca-Cola lockup for $2.2 million because, as Don Eladio said, math is for bikers and hillbillies. Coca-Cola is a real man's drug, and that's what we'll be selling from our brand new establishment that we just purchased. I also go with the Shih Tzu Defiler because I only have $435,000 left from the starter cash and I literally cannot afford something better. At the end, after buying some guns, I'm left with exactly $4,000 in my pocket, which won't even get you a candy bar in GTA Online these days. Alright, it's now time to create a new character from our level 1 account. Let's see, we've got Drunk Hobo, Nigerian Prince, Asian Dentist, and Random Fat Guy. Nah, these are all trash. So I'm gonna go with my usual character, and for this one, I'm gonna select Nico Bellic as the father and tweak the facial features a bit so he looks all mean and grizzled. Perfect for scaring away all the kids at birthday parties. As for the clothes, I really don't care since they all look like trash and I'm gonna buy some new threads later, so let's just stick with the default outfit for now. Now all that's left is a name, and we're done. We've got a brand new character, level 1, and we're ready to conquer the world of GTA 5 Online. Stepping into the lobby for the very first time, I open up my map and it looks emptier than a nun's lingerie drawer because I literally do not own anything other than that MC Club and Coca-Cola lockup that I bought earlier. And even those businesses aren't active right now. So after doing a few setup missions, I activate my Coca-Cola lockup, which means it's ready to source and sell product. Then I immediately abandon it in pursuit of a far superior money-making method, the First Dose series of missions, which can be unlocked right from the start simply by driving over to this R icon in Sandy Shores. I've also purchased the Duke of Death, but I won't really be using it all that much right now since the Batty 801RR is so much faster for general grinding stuff when you don't need super heavy armor in a vehicle, and I was able to afford this bike by doing a simple stash house. Now, I must remind you here that I'm something like level 2 with the lowest amount of HP, and to top it off, I got lazy and didn't bring any snacks or armor. So when I strolled into that stash house with a crappy pistol in my hands, I was immediately put down by the crackheads inside. On my second attempt, I had the high ground, and I easily cleared out the whole place by hiding behind some stairs. Then I used $31,000 from this little safe to purchase the Batty 801RR. On my way to Trevor's old liquor store in Sandy Shores, I came across the G's Cash, which is a randomized daily collectible, and it's this tiny box full of cash, ammo, and snacks that you can collect each day for free. Just walk into the search zone, zero in on the beeping sound of the beacon, and pick up your loot. It really is that easy. After arriving at Ron's location, I was introduced to this merry band of drugged up misfits, and we were having ourselves a very nice little chat when the assholes from the Lost MC showed up and stole Dax's RV. Of course, I'm the one tasked with bringing back the RV because everyone knows I'm the main character, so that's exactly what I do. I headshot a bunch of lost MC thugs near the liquor store, then I chase them down to their trailer park where I mow down even more of these assholes. By the way, I still don't have any snacks or armor, so I die a second time here after killing dozens of bad guys. But at the end of the day, I bring Dax's journey back home, and we ride together to the freak shop, which is going to be my new base of operations, and I'm also going to use that cash from the first dose mission to buy some new clothes, because right now, I look like a total moron. There we go. My guy looks so much better now. I probably should have done the helmet plus mask glitch to match my character on my main account, but I've got more important things on my mind here, like completing the rest of the first dose missions for that sweet first time cash bonus, which is something like $500,000 by itself, without including the money you get at the end of each mission. There are 5 more of these missions, and I go through them one by one. Mission 2 has me stealing some party supplies by hooking it up to the semi-truck, but the Lost MC just can't stop poking their noses in our business, and after they blow up my cargo, I assault their base on Dax's orders. This time, I actually have snacks and body armor, so the engagement goes a lot better than the first mission. Inside, I run into this rude fellow who tries to whack me in the head with a baseball bat, but I get him first with my gun. Then I almost get cut in half by this shotgun camper in the corner before filling my bags with some of the finest OG Kush in Los Santos. On my way out, I come across even more Lost MC clowns, so I decide to steal one of their bikes.
Fuck you and your mama.
Hey, mind your language here, buddy. I'm trying to make a YouTube video over here. Anyways, on my way out, I shoot this one in the balls with my SMG, and I ride back in style to Dax, completing the mission and earning an easy $16,000. The next mission is more of the same stuff, only this time, the Lost MC guys are holed up in Stab City, and I've got to destroy a bunch of their property because, as Dax said,
"We're not just sending a message, we're carving a message into their butt cheeks."
Yep, you heard the man. Anyways, I head down to the docks where I take out even more bad guys, and then I steal some of the lost math for myself and fly it back in this plane to the Fooligans. And it's honestly been a while since I played through all the first dose missions, but I must say here, these do hold up pretty well in 2026. I mean, it's not like the Los Santos Drug Wars update is super old or anything. It was introduced in the winter of 2022, but I was still surprised at how well designed the missions are, and even though the payout isn't all that great, the mission structure and level of difficulty is perfect for me, and I recommend you guys give this a try if you have not already. I also like the story bits with the Fooligans, especially the 4th mission in the first dose questline where you get really high on acid and fly a bike while trying to dodge UFO beams and all other kinds of weird psychedelic stuff. It ends with you dressing up as a pirate and hunting down these weird ghost rabbits with a musket, and when you finally wake up from your LSD trip, you're in your shorts, out in the middle of nowhere, and you realize that you've been chasing imaginary demons this entire time. In the 6th and final first dose mission, I steal this super advanced Brigade 6x6 truck after derailing a train, and I drive it back to the freak shop where the game gives me the option to install an acid lab in the back. But first, I must source some equipment by going to one of these special warehouses on the map, so that's exactly what I do. Inside, I kill these rent-a-cops and prove that I am indeed forklift certified by taking these pallets full of supplies and putting them on this flatbed truck. Hey, by the way, imagine how crazy it would be if 4 years after the Los Santos Drug Wars update that Rockstar reskinned this entire system and turned it into an odd job that you can do for money? Oh wait, they already did that. It's called Alpha Mail now. Alright, after returning all the stolen equipment, I was finally able to pay $750,000 for my acid lab. And at first, I wasn't so sure about this because it meant that my kosatka plus Sparrow purchase would have to take the back seat because now I'd have to recuperate the acid lab costs, but I also couldn't pass up on the chance to own the single best passive business in the game for solo players. And yes, I did get that first time bonus for the first dose missions. You just can't see it because my internet crapped out right after the 6th mission ended. And it gave me a heart attack because I thought I'd have to do the entire thing from scratch over, but thankfully I got the cash in my bank account. Look here. $1.4 million right there. I buy some new weapons with this cash, as much as my low rank will allow, because a lot of the best stuff is still gated behind level checks. Then I also buy the venerable armored Kuruma, which everybody knows about because it's the best bulletproof car in the entire game early on, and this purchase cost me $700,000. But honestly, I feel like it was kinda, sorta a waste of money, because as you're about to see later in this video, I barely use this car for my heists. So yeah, definitely a regret on this one. And for those of you who are wondering about last dose, yes, I also did all 5 of those right after finishing my first dose missions because why the heck not? After all, I'm getting a free Ocelot Virtue at the end of this questline, and that's going to be my car of choice for grinding things like No Way Out and the Cluckin Bell farm raid. Plus, the story for this part of the Drug Wars DLC is a continuation for the first half, and it's just as batshit insane as you'd expect. Basically, the entire plot boils down to this. Dr. Isaiah Friedlander from Story Mode has gone crazy, and he's building his own pharmaceutical wellness company, which is essentially a front for a drug empire. And he needs Lab Rat's help to make a special type of acid that he claims is the key to nirvana or just some shit like that. He also is using this new drug to mindfuck people so he can do experiments on them and turn them into slaves. Pretty creepy, but I managed to save Lab Rat with Lucha's help, and the two of us get some payback in Mission 5 where we literally fly into the cargo bay of this giant aircraft to hunt down this crazy doc. And there he goes.
Time is up!
With Isaiah Friedlander out of the picture, we get access to his literal truckload of precursor chemicals, which is enough to run our mobile acid lab for all of eternity and make us loads of money. But first, I need to visit this parking lot over here and grab my free $3 million electric hypercar. As you can see, the acceleration on this thing is quite vigorous. And while I can't put any engine or transmission upgrades on it yet, I think it's plenty fast even in its stock form, so let's do a few Cluckin Bells with it, shall we? But before I can make my way to Vincent, I got sniped from the back by this douchebag while I was on the phone with Dax, requesting a fooligan job. And then the asshole decided to steal my car, so I locked the doors and teleported it back to my garage for safety. Then I stole this NPC jackal to create some distance between me and this griefer, praying to God that some guy in a helicopter doesn't blow me up out of nowhere. Alright boys, looks like the coast is clear for now. Let's call in the Virtue and drive to Stab City. Over there, I get reacquainted with some old trailer park friends, and this time, the Lost MC have stolen some valuable goods from one of Dax's clients, so I gun down their boss and take a picture of his booty hole for Dax. Then I drive back with the stolen goods, deliver them to this wind farm right here, and drive away in this ATV for my $50,000 reward. Honestly, not that bad at all for 7 minutes of gameplay. But enough fooling around. Let's do that Cluckin Bell farm raid, because we all know it's the best money maker at this stage in the game. $500,000 guaranteed in under an hour, you just can't beat it. First, I drive to this police station near Little Seoul where I meet everyone's favorite vigilante cop, Vincent Effenberger. And yes, that is his real name. His colleagues even make fun of him for it.
Worst last name ever, dude. I mean, Effen what?
But Vincent isn't bothered by their petty insults because he knows he's destined for greater things. And by destined, I mean he's gonna use me to bring down a secret cartel operation and get himself a promotion. So first, I steal a bunch of fake money from the cartels that we'll use to fund our own operation. And inside the laundry, I find the world's lousiest thug. Then this happens. Now, that's a proper Wi-Fi kill right there. Outside, I'm greeted by even more friendly faces, and then I head to the second money laundering site where I find some more lousy guards inside, and I also get my second Wi-Fi kill with the grenade. Then, in the second mission, I go to the docks and steal a laptop from this idiot who's too busy playing Cube to notice that I'm running away with his personal property. I also find a rogue terabyte in the wild, and this one's being guarded by a bunch of drones, so I play dodge the FPV for a while, and what you can do here is pull out your grenade launcher or homing missile launcher and aim for the top of the terabyte's roof like this. The splash damage from the explosion will kill both drones at the same time, and you won't have to shoot them down individually. Inside, I find my hacking device and use it to do one thing CJ never could: follow the damn train. Better yet, I'm the one driving, and I use this train to ram straight through this group of idiots who apparently thought that parking a helicopter on a railway track was a recipe for health and happiness. I also break into the hood and drop some chumps for the Marabunta Grande weapon loadout. Then I do the single worst getaway vehicle source mission that you can possibly do for the Cluckin Bell farm raid, and it's this one over in Pacific Bluffs, where you follow a military cargo bob and shoot it down to steal the Patriot mil-spec. I mean, this is a pretty sweet ride, and it's heavily armored, all but impervious from the back, but it's also slow, unwieldy, and practically useless because I've got a much faster way of escaping from the cops, and I'll show that to you once we get to the finale. For the fourth mission, I have to hack some vans and find the coordinates to the Cluckin Bell garage where I'll steal a key card for the factory and sabotage some trucks as well. And while the game tells you to follow these vans and hack them, you actually don't have to do any of that. You can simply drive manually to each garage location, and if it's the right spot, you'll get teleported inside. This ain't it. Let's try the next one. Wait, this isn't the right one either. Third garage better work. Alright, what the hell is going on here? I literally tried this a month ago and it worked just fine. Guess I'll go hack the vans now. Thanks for that spaghetti code, Rockstar. Real nice of you. All of you guys watching this video should still go for the garages directly. Just because it didn't work for me this time doesn't mean it won't work for you, because sometimes these things just get glitched and you have to redo the heist to make it work again. But I don't have time to restart the whole thing, so I'll just push through to the end. My entry into the garage was definitely sneaky, but I'm no good at stealth, so halfway through while I was drilling the lockboxes, one of the guard's spidey senses must have activated telepathically because he walked into the room and I got caught, at which point I said, screw it, and started blasting. Might as well go all out. No point in sabotaging the engines when you can just blow up the trucks with your missiles. The Cluckin Bell finale used to have a hard mode, but now it's all one fixed difficulty, which means that even with my relatively light Marabunta Grande loadout, I'm still able to slice through these waves of bad guys like it's absolutely nothing. And that Krinkov with the drum mag is no joke, folks, because in close quarters, it's almost like wielding a portable death ray. Outside, I make my getaway in the Mammoth Patriot Mil-Spec, but I really don't want to drive this slow vehicle all the way home, so I call in my personal armored Kuruma, which is much faster and much better protected from all sides. Then I just use these railway tracks to keep driving south, and I managed to slip away from the cops once I reached the Grand Sonora Desert. From there, it's an easy ride home and an easy $500,000 at the end. Oh hey look, $250,000 as a bonus for completing the Cluckin Bell farm raid for our very first time. How nice. Now, I'm gonna do the second tier 2 heist that was just recently added to the game with the Mansions DLC, and this one is called the No Way Out heist, which is just as good, if not better than Cluckin Bell for money making in my opinion. And most people really struggle with this one, especially in the first and the fourth mission, so I've got a few tips for you. In the taxi mission, you don't actually have to destroy all the billboards and robo-taxis by ramming into them in your own No Way taxi. Instead, do this. Plant a sticky bomb on the taxi, get into the control pod, break the speed limit, run over the pedestrians, whatever you need to do to complete that first phase of the mission. Then once your 3 objectives are complete, simply get out of the pod and blow up your taxi remotely by using that sticky bomb that you planted earlier. Destroy all remaining taxis in the depot so you never have to return here. Go outside and then get into your own personal vehicle. Now what you can do is just drive around in your personal fast car or bike and use sticky bombs to blow up the remaining billboards and robo-taxis. This is way faster than jumping off ramps in that stupid robo-taxi that the game gives you, and you aren't locked to first-person view either, which means you can actually see stuff around you while you're completing your job. For the 4th No Way Out mission, Trash Talking, which is also the longest one of them all by the way, I've got a neat little trick that you can use to fool the CCTV cameras at each depot, and here's how you do it. First, enter the depot and park your garbage truck next to the fence like this. Then get outside, walk around the back of your truck, pop this dude in the head with a silenced gun that you have, and just walk away with the bags. Now, you do have to make sure that your gun is holstered before you walk into the camera's vision cone. Everything will turn red on your minimap as soon as you get into the restricted area, but don't get nervous because these cameras have a hidden weakness, and that's their aggro timer. You see, they need at least 2 to 3 seconds to recognize you as a threat so long as you get in and get out fast. You won't raise that alarm. Pay close attention to how I'm doing it here. I'm running in, grabbing my evidence bag, and then I'm standing in the corner to reset the camera's aggro timer. Then I can easily run out again in full view of the CCTV camera, and because I reset the timer, it won't flag me as a threat. That's how you do it. And for the second depot, Avi will tell you to intercept the real garbage man, but just ignore him and drive straight to the depot. There, you can repeat the trick that we used earlier. Just shoot this guard, hop over the fence, and whack this guy in the head. Then literally walk away with the evidence in full view of the CCTV camera. As long as you hide in the corner for a couple of seconds after doing something illegal, the camera will just forget all about it because it has the memory span of a demented goldfish. After that, all you have to do is drive to the final pickup spot, steal the documents in stealth mode from the office, take out the fleeing FIB vehicle, and you're done. Once you get the hang of it, I believe that No Way Out as a mission set is honestly just as easy, if not easier than Cluckin Bell, but it also has a steeper learning curve to it, and you'll surely fail a bunch of times before you finally learn how to do things the right way, because the missions here are just a little bit more complex than Cluckin Bell overall. Anyway, I got $350,000 from this No Way Out run because I was an idiot and forgot to enable hard mode, so yeah. That's a lesson on what not to do. However, as a consolation prize, Rockstar did give me an extra $250,000 because this was my first No Way Out on this brand new account, so I guess it's not all that bad. At this point, I'm only a couple million shy of my goal, so I decided to do some treasure hunts for easy cash. Namely the Navy revolver treasure hunt and the double action revolver treasure hunt. both of which combined give you $500,000 worth of cash bonuses if you complete their kill challenges after you unlock the items. And for the Navy revolver, it was honestly very easy. You just have to visit 5 different clue locations on the map and interact with clues to progress the questline. And things were actually going pretty smoothly for me until the third clue, which is this bloody machete right here in Stab City. What I didn't notice is that while I was marking the location for my 4th clue, this asshole was busy marking me for death by sneaking up on me from the back and planting a bunch of sticky bombs on my Virtue. He probably doesn't know that my Virtue has 0 armor plating upgrades right now, which is a good thing, because he overestimated how many bombs it would take to kill me, and I was able to exit the car and send it back to the garage before he pressed detonate. Then, because he was honking at me, I decided to get in his Night Shark, and the 2 of us went for a joyride, but to be honest, he was just acting like a clown and wasn't really taking me anywhere, so I got out of the car, and this must have pissed him off because he immediately turned around and ran me over. Then the guy with the fragile ego continued to stalk me into the mountains, chasing behind me the entire time as I made my way to the next clue, and fortunately here, the Virtue was really fast, even on a dirt trail, so I was able to shake him off my tail. Then, once I got all the clues for the serial killer, aka the Los Santos slasher, this guy invited me to a good old-fashioned duel over in the Sandy Shores airstrip, and so I obliged. Alright pal, let's see what you can do. Wow, what are they feeding these guys? I've been stomping on his head for 5 minutes straight, and he's still breathing? Why won't you die? Oh, okay, that did it. Apparently, he's got 0 defense against a pistol whip to the dome. Next, I decided to go on a rampage myself at the casino with my freshly acquired Navy revolver, and I want you guys to pay attention to this part right here. Can someone explain to me how he came back to life? Hello? Are you secretly immortal or something? I just killed you 5 seconds ago. Inside, we see some more weird time travel stuff because Vincent is still working his old job as a casino security guard, even though I literally did the Cluckin Bell for him an hour ago and he was a police officer over there. This timeline just doesn't make any sense whatsoever, but let's roll along with it for now. Next, I'm introduced to Miss Agatha Baker. After Tom finishes yapping, I step outside to find my arch nemesis once again, the immortal valet, and I put him down a second time. But I know he'll be back and breathing within 5 seconds, so I shift my focus to the other NPCs instead. Soon, I earn that $250,000 cash bonus for killing 50 people with the Navy revolver, and after that, I also grab a further $250 grand by getting 50 headshots with my double action revolver. Then I did a quick stash house to resupply my asset lab, which takes forever to fill up because it doesn't have the equipment upgrade, and I also did a sell mission for $60,000 because it's almost midnight while I'm recording this part of the video, and I don't want to stay up till the morning just so I could sell a full asset lab. I'm really close to that $4 million goal right now. I just need a couple more heists, but I don't think I have it in me to do another Cluckin Bell or No Way Out today, as I'm feeling really exhausted, so instead, I found a few crewmates to do the Cayo, Perico, and Diamond Casino heist with me. For Cayo, the setup was all done and we just had to loot some tequila and some gold from Rubio's compound. I got a 25% cut, and even though we failed the elite challenge because one of the bodies was detected by the camera system, I still made it out with over $400,000 in cash because we got gold as our secondary loot, and it only took about 12 minutes total. Then I did a quick diamond casino run with the Big Con approach, and these fellas were definitely replay glitchers because they had diamonds for the loot. Plus, the host gave me 35% of the cut, even though we were a trio, which was really generous, so thank you for that. The approach was super easy because we had the group sex van, and inside, we made it through the man traps without breaking the game, and we also made it out with full bags of loot, which was really nice. I got a decent chunk of cash from this heist, bringing my total haul for the day up to $4.4 million, which is more than enough for a kosatka and the Sparrow purchases. So I went ahead and met up with Miguel, aka Mini Madrazo, over at the music locker, and this unlocked the kosatka and Warstock. I spent $2.2 million on the Submarine, as well as a further $1.8 million on the Sparrow helicopter, which is easily the second best grinding tool in the game after the Oppressor Mark II. I also installed some homing missiles on my Sparrow and did a quick test flight with it. The results were very satisfying, and I'm super excited to earn millions of dollars with my brand new setup in the next video. But ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of episode 1 of Bum to Billionaire. And now that I have the kosatka and the Sparrow, I'm ready to start grinding for real. In episode 2, I'll use this setup to make over $10 million in just 2 days, and it won't just be Cayo Perico, so you'll definitely want to stick around for that one, because I've got a few surprises planned for episode 2, which will be out very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Drop a like on this video if you enjoyed and found it informative. Subscribe to the channel if you are new and you want to see more GTA Online content just like this. Check me out over on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram, specifically twitch.tv/hazardoushtv. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, adios amigos.